Wonderhussey here in beautiful Southern California. Just hanging out on the beach right by the border wall. That's right, the thin blue line that separates the civilized United States from the chaos of Mexico just sort of peters out into the Pacific Ocean, not that far from the shoreline. Anyway, the less I say about that, the better, because I just finished shooting a whole video about it. I'm camping in this really weird campground that's like half a mile from the border. It's just totally bizarre, so I don't want to give too many details away before I put that video out. And also, I think I better get out of here because I just did a skinny dip in the Pacific and it felt amazing. I'm used to being up in Northern California where the water is really cold. Down here, I guess because it's mixed with so much sewage from the Tijuana River, well, the water was real nice and warm. But yeah, I did it naked and there's a Border Patrol agent lurking right up there, and he probably saw everything, so I better get out of here before I get arrested or before I get another phone confiscated. Oh gosh, look, now they're making him drag tires to keep the road to the beach smoothed out. Boy, those Border Patrol guys, never a dull moment in their lives. Meanwhile, look at this. It's a giant burned out shipping container just randomly sitting out here on this really surreal part of the Southern California coastline. You can see in the distance there's the border wall separating, well, ironically it's supposed to separate the chaos of Mexico from the orderliness of the United States, but if you look at this section of it, boy, the Mexico side looks very orderly and the California side just looks like wilderness. Anyway, this is just a really surreal state beach. Believe it or not, this is a California state beach. You would never know looking at the condition of the facilities. I mean, apparently at one time there was a restroom here that could accommodate all abilities, but now there's just this decrepit warning sign telling you to keep out of the water. Sewage contaminated, may cause illness. Oh, yikes, Dios mío, and I just skinny dipped in it. I'm just curious, are these bathrooms even open? No, I guess not. Man, I just skinny dipped in that water. Well, it's a good thing there's a hot shower at the campground that I'm staying at. That's right, I'm staying at a campground right down the road that is literally like half a mile from the border fence. It's a totally surreal experience, and I have thoroughly documented it for YouTube. So stay tuned for that one coming. Well, it'll probably be coming in a few weeks. I don't know, that's the thing. When I travel around like I've been traveling, I mean, I just went to Colorado, Wyoming, Utah. I even dipped into Idaho for a second. I shot so many videos. I kind of feel like, oh, I need to put them up in sequential order. But then I shoot a humdinger like this one. Whew, and I want to put it up right away. No, I'm going to wait. It'll probably be 2-3 weeks before I get it up, but definitely stay tuned for it, because this is one of the weirdest places I've ever camped. And Mumford was supposed to come down here with me. He's actually riding his dirt bike down in, on the other side of the fence there, down in Baja right now. And so the idea was, I booked 2 nights here because he was going to stay one night with me, but his friend told him that it was too dangerous to camp down here. And to be honest, it really didn't make sense for him because he was going in, he was supposed to meet these people that he was riding with in Tecate, and that's more over by El Centro. So he stayed in El Centro last night. I camped here, and it was fine. I survived. I am camping one more night. If you're watching this, I guess that means I survived the second night too. I don't know, I found it to be very peaceful, surreal, but peaceful. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to give too many details away because that'll spoil the full video when I come out with it. But yep, here I am back in California. I left the Rocky Mountain Way to come back here. Well, I had to go back to Vegas anyway because I had a doctor's appointment. Okay, I have this, one of my viewers, a very kind and generous viewer, strongly suggested that my sister and I should go see dermatologists and just get all our moles checked because I spend so much time in the sun, my sister too, And it is good to go every now and then and get all of them checked. Well, I've never had my moles checked in my entire life, and I spend a lot of time in the sun, and I got a lot of moles. Holy moly. So I thought, okay, good idea. He recommended we should just go to a cash dermatologist, you know, because my US viewers, you understand, health insurance is such a friggin' nightmare, and it's just easier to go pay somebody cash. So my sister did look up a dermatologist in Vegas who accepted cash patients, and she came highly recommended, blah, blah, blah. And she gave me a scan. I think I talked about this in another video. Everything came out okay, except for this thing on my knee that she said, I don't know. You know, it had just appeared a couple weeks prior to my visit. And so she said, well, keep an eye on it and come back. So I made a follow-up appointment, which was last week. And that's why I had to come back from Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and descend back into the belly of the beast in the Mojave Desert in late July. Ooh-wee. It was hot, but to be honest, it wasn't that hot. Those of you who live in the desert know what I'm talking about. You've had a pretty mild summer so far. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, I came through Baker, you know, the home of the world's tallest thermometer, and the tallest thermometer in the world was only reading 107, which really isn't bad for July 30th, which it was. So I just stopped to get a shake at the Mad Greek, take a quick pic, and then get the hell out of here, because over here in, well, I'll just go ahead and call it San Diego, it's very pleasant. I think it was like 75, maybe 80 degrees today. Ugh, just wonderful, which is why I'm walking around in nothing but flip-flops and my magic bikini in full view of the border wall. How about that? Anyway, I did go to the doctor for my follow-up, and she looked at the thing on my knee again, and she said, she didn't think it was cancerous, but she couldn't be 100% sure. And so she offered to slice it off and do a biopsy right then and there. And that would have cost $375 to slice it off. And then $70 for the pathology fee for the radiologist or whoever examined it. So what is that? Oh gosh, I'm terrible at math. 445, somewhere around 450 bucks. I thought, $450 and just be done with it. But then I thought, well, what if it did turn out to be something more serious? And then I would have to start racking up medical bills. Well, I better just go through my insurance. But yes, I do pay for health insurance. Every month I pay, gosh, over $500 a month for health insurance, I think. I don't even remember what my premium is. Somewhere between $500 and $600 a month. And many of you watching can sympathize. Health insurance is so ridiculously expensive in the United States. And I don't ever hardly go to the doctor, but you have it just in case something happens, you know, just in case you get E. coli from skinny dipping in the friggin' Pacific Ocean where the Tijuana River dumps sewage into it, something like that. That's what you're supposed to have it for, some emergency. But then it's like, okay, then I should just get a catastrophic plan. You know, over here in the States, we have all these different tiers of plans you can get. Some folks get the most expensive plan, which allows them to go to any doctor they want, get the finest care in the land. Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of budget. So I have basically the cheapest plan, but there's an even cheaper plan that's called a catastrophic plan. And I guess that only covers you if something super duper serious happens, well, gosh, I don't know if getting E. coli from skinny dipping would even qualify as catastrophic, but you get the idea. Look, now the Border Patrol guy is posted up there on the hillside by the fence, probably watching me, waiting for me to leave, because I did have an interaction with him earlier when I was filming. I can't help it, man. There's all these Mexicans on the Mexican side of the fence in Tijuana partying and drinking. And they come up to the fence and they go, hey, hola. And so I was just waving back, talking to him. It was at first I thought it was like the Berlin Wall, but then it occurred to me, it kind of reminded me of Auschwitz when you see those films of the concentration camp, people reaching through the fence going, ah. It was really weird. Anyway, I don't know. You guys tell me. Does this thing on my leg look serious enough that I should drop everything and get it biopsied? It's like a little bubble. Kind of looks like a wart. It's not irregular shaped. You know, isn't that what they say? A, B, C, asymmetry. B, I can't remember what B or C, I don't know. It hasn't changed. I think it's just like a little skin growth, like a skin tag. And they probably just need to shave it off for cosmetic reasons because it's unsightly. But you never know. It could be something serious. And so part of me feels like I should abandon this mission, abort mission, and go back to the friggin' Mojave Desert in the, well, now it'll be August, and go through the proper channels through my insurance, which means first I gotta go to a doctor to get a referral to go to a dermatologist who can diagnose the dang thing and send it to a radiologist. Oh look, I'm not the only one here. Some dude riding his dirt bike. I guess not all dirt bikers think it's dangerous here. Right, Mumford? Anyway, it would be a process to get it looked at through my insurance, but I feel like that's what I should do. I should call. It's just such a nightmare. I get like anxiety at the mere thought of even making a doctor's appointment because it's so complicated. Like, I don't know how that works. I think I have to call my HMO and make an appointment with just any random provider. But no, not just any random provider, because if I make it with a doctor, you know, an MD, then the copay is like $150. But if I make the appointment with just an RN or an APN or a physician's assistant, the copay is only $50. It's very complicated. You can't just call and make the first available appointment. No, I need to call and ask the person who answers the phone to schedule me the next available appointment with somebody who is not an MD, and then go in and tell them, look, I'm only here. Maybe I could do that with a teledoc. You know how you do the Zoom online doctor thing? I'll bet you anything I could show it on those visits are free, okay? You tell me how any of this makes sense, but whatever the case, I need to make an appointment somehow with some doctor to go, hey man, send me to a dermatologist, and then go to the dermatologist, and then la la la. But I feel like it is something that I should do. Now, is it something that I need to do right now? I mean, if they cut the thing off, I asked the dermatologist in Vegas that I went to, and she said, well, don't do it if you're going to the beach. And, you know, you can't be out in the sun. If it's cut off, you got to, I guess, keep it covered out of the sun. And, you know, here I am planning to be at the beach, and I was planning to go up to Lake Tahoe and hang out with Mayor Dennis at the nude beach up there. It just doesn't seem like a very good time to have to stay out of the sun. And then I'm planning to go to Burning Man. That's right, I decided to go to Burning Man after all. I wasn't going to go this year because, well, not that I think I'm too cool for it or that I got boring or that the HBO documentary soured me on it. That's right, there's this HBO documentary about Burning Man that's been playing. You may have seen it yourselves. It makes Burning Man seem like a bunch of entitled douchebags. So I can't blame anybody after watching that who would think, ooh, why would anyone want to go there? No, it had nothing to do with any of that. I don't know, Mumford inexplicably wants to go. And he's never been. He watched a video, where he watched some YouTube channel where this dirt bike guy that he follows, because he's a big dirt biker, some dirt bike guy went to it like 5 years ago, and ever since then, Mumford has been curious. And now he met me. And I have, you know, I've been several times, so I can kind of help him out. He wants to go. The only thing is, he's not going to like it, and he accepts that. He knows how he is. He's not crazy about big groups of people. He's not really a people person, loud noises, crowds. Well, that's what Burning Man is. So his idea is he just wants to go in for a couple days, but he also doesn't want to have to wait in line. You know, you see those videos online of how long it can take to get into and out of Burning Man. Because think about it, 80,000 people are all trying to enter and leave this vast dry lake bed at the same time. I mean, I don't know why they don't just let them all go in different directions. No, they got to funnel them all in this one arbitrary lane to the highway. And it's a 2-lane highway out of there. So for safety's sake, they can't just let everybody go at once. And so consequently, sometimes you got to wait hours and hours and hours in line. And he doesn't want that. So I think he just wants to come in on Friday. Weekend warrior. He wants to see, ride his bike around, look at the art, watch the man burn, and then just kind of wait on Monday. He says he thinks it would be interesting to stay on Monday and watch everything being dismantled, which I agree, it is interesting. And then he'll leave Tuesday or something. Okay, well and good for Mumford. I don't want to just go to Burning Man for 3 days. So if I'm going to go all the way up there, I might as well stay for the whole time. So I decided I'll just go stay with somebody else. Let me let this jag off past me by so I can get my audio back. Boy, the sound of your penis is so big I can still hear it even though you're all the way down the road. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Burning Man. Yes, of course I'll hang out with Mumford when he gets there, but what about Monday through Thursday? I'm going to go stay with this other friend. I'm not going to say too much about her. She's a very interesting person, and she said I can film in her RV. She's got an RV that she said I could stay in with her. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up and stay with, well, I guess I could say her name. Her name is Shavana, and I'll stay with Shavana most of the burn, and then just the last couple days I'll go hang out with Mumford at his camp, which he said he's going to set up his camp way out on the outer perimeter away from everybody else so he can have some semblance of peace and quiet, which is what I recommended for him. By the way, isn't this absolutely beautiful? This is this awesome trail, well, road technically, that you take to get out to the beach right by the border fence. It's an actual California state park, but it's so run down and abandoned feeling that honestly you would never know you were in California. You know, you think of going to these California beaches like Malibu, Santa Monica, everything's beautiful and pristine. You got to pay $40 to park, and places crowded with families and kids and golden retrievers. Well, out here, there ain't nobody. That's how come I was able to skinny dip and nude sunbathe a bit. I don't think the Border Patrol guy cared. You know, he just didn't want me to go up to the fence and talk to the Mexicans on the other side, that's all. And he was Mexican himself, by the way, which a lot of people find that ironic. Like, oh, how could a Mexican guy work for Border Patrol? Well, you know, a lot of those guys, their families came here the legal way years ago. And so they kind of have a vested interest in keeping cheaters from jumping the line, so to speak. But anyway, I don't know really anything about it. All I know is this foliage is absolutely beautiful. Look at this. There's all these really cool spiky little desert beach plants, because remember, Southern California is a desert. And then look back in the background, there's a bunch of beautiful, I don't think those are California poppies. Some kind of gorgeous orange flowers, bamboo growing here, all kinds of green stuff, just running riot down here in this weird, forgotten, abandoned corner of California. I've been wanting to come to this place probably for at least a year. I don't remember how I found it. I was looking around on Google Maps and I saw there was this campground way down on the border. And I thought, who the hell would camp by Tijuana? Well, the answer to that is Wonderhussie, aka Sandy Toes. Oh, God, there's so many little bugs here. That's a downside to camping here. There's all these little gnats or flies or something. They're mostly bothersome in the morning and in the evening, I've come to find out. I got here yesterday. I drove out, like I said, from I came from the Railroad Pass Casino, if you know where that is. It's this weird casino outside the city of Las Vegas, kind of between Henderson and Boulder City. I guess back in the day when they were building the Hoover Dam. I didn't know any of this. I just know Mumford likes to stay at Railroad Pass. He likes to ride his dirt bike out there. And so he was coming down here to do this dirt bike ride. And he goes, well, I'm going to stay at Railroad Pass a couple nights if you want to join me. Okay, I'll join you at Railroad Pass. Why not? I've driven by it a million times. I used to stop off there to pick people up when I was modeling, because a lot of the locations I used were down that way, down US 95 towards Searchlight. So I would tell the photographer, okay, meet me at Railroad Pass Casino, and then I'll drive us down, we'll do the photos, and I'll bring you back to your car. So I've been to Railroad Pass a bunch of times, but I never stayed there, or never learned much about the history. And it's really interesting. Okay, we wanted to go to the Hoover Dam while we were there. That was the plan, because, you know, you're right by Boulder City. And I've never, in all the 21 years I lived in Vegas, I never did the Hoover Dam tour. I went to the Hoover Dam and I walked across it and, you know, looked at I made that video talking about that. There's a plaque at the Hoover Dam, and this is very politically incorrect. Back in the day, you know, Hoover Dam was built in the 30s. Well, there was this dog that wandered onto the construction site. Okay, remember the Hoover Dam was like one of the biggest construction projects in the history of the world. And all these Jews were showing up. It was the middle of the Great Depression, so everybody needed work. So hordes of men would show up to friggin' Black Canyon in the middle of the Mojave Desert in the middle of summer, begging to sweat their balls off and work on building this dam. And so this dog wandered onto the job site one day, and you know, construction workers are. They kind of adopted the dog, took him in, started feeding him. And this being the 1930s, because it was a black dog, I think it was a black Labrador, they named the dog, this is very offensive, Nig. And so the dog, I don't know, the dog lived with him for however long, but then one day, unfortunately, a truck backed over the dog and killed it. And so they erected a plaque. When the Hoover Dam was finished, this dog was so beloved that they put a plaque on the side by the visitor center that said, "In memory of Nig." Well, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, African-American visitors to the Hoover Dam in like the 1990s complained about it. And so they removed the plaque and replaced it with another plaque, still celebrating the same dog, but instead of Nig, it says, "In memory of construction site dog." So anyway, I went to the Hoover Dam back in the day to make that video, and you may have even seen it yourself. I mean, it was one of my early videos, so I'm sure the production values are rough. But it was cool because I went to film that sign, was the main reason I went, because I like weird stuff like that. But then I also kind of looked around the dam, and I went into the gift shop, and they had magnets in the gift shop that said, "Welcome to Nevada." But they were magnets that some artist banged together using stock photography, stock photos. So there was a picture of me on it in my showgirl costume. Because remember, I did that whole video talking about how I did a photo shoot in my showgirl costume. And the photographer sold the photos as stock photos, unbeknownst to me. So my pictures started showing up in all kinds of crazy places. Well, that was one of them. They were on these magnets in the Hoover Dam gift shop. So I was going to go to the Hoover Dam with Mumford and see if those magnets were still there and kind of do a update video, you know, because I was going to do the whole tour, go down and thing. But wouldn't you know it, literally the one friggin' day in 26 years that I've lived in that area, the one day that I decided I'm going to go take the Hoover Dam tour, the Hoover Dam was shut down. Okay, there was some issue with, there's this big cable that stretches across the canyon that I guess they use to move heavy equipment. I mean, some ginormous gauge braided steel cable. I don't know. There was some issue with the cable. They were afraid it was going to snap or fall or something. And so they closed the whole Hoover Dam down. The whole damn dam was closed. And me and Mumford drove out there anyway thinking, well, maybe we can at least park and, you know, look at some. No, they would not let us anywhere near there. So instead, we had to go into Boulder City town, which is a very quaint little town, and it has an amazing museum all about the building of the Hoover Dam. I can't believe I never went to this museum. I can't recommend it enough. If you live in Vegas or Boulder City, go check it out. It's inside that hotel, that haunted 2-story Boulder City hotel. Great museum. And in that museum, it told all about the construction of this Hoover Dam and how these hordes of men showed up to try and get work there. And then there wasn't a town. There was no Boulder City when the Hoover Dam was being built. It was just all these guys building tents, you know, living in tents and shacks in the desert when it was 120 degrees. And a lot of these guys brought their wives and families with them. And so eventually they did have to build a town. And that's how Boulder City came to be. See what I mean? There's like so much trash out here. I think it's because the Tijuana River flows into the ocean just a little bit north of here. And so all this plastic and tires and crap washes up here from Mexico. You know, I guess they don't have the same standards that we in the U.S. do about throwing our trash in the appropriate places. Here in the U.S., we know better. We throw our trash in piles in the desert, not in the Tijuana River. Anyway, Railroad Pass Casino was built right outside Boulder City because Boulder City ended up becoming like a lockdown federal camp where there was no gambling, no alcohol, no fun. The guy who ran the construction project sounded like a real piece of work. I mean, they were tough. It was like 120 plus degrees down in that canyon when these guys were working. And they tried to strike for a minute because they wanted more water breaks. But this was back in the day, I think it was before unions even existed. And the guy running the project was like, "No, sirree, you are fired." Like, he wasn't even trying to play around. So after that, all those shenanigans, yeah, he put the whole place on this very strict lockdown. Literally, you had to drive through a gate to get into, I don't know if it was called Boulder City yet. But no alcohol, no gambling, no fun. So when you, like, if you wanted to go into Vegas and, you know, get a bottle of beer or whatever, you had to throw it away before you got back to Boulder City. They said that people would drive up to the gate, look, finish the bottle and just throw it in the desert. And still to this day, you can drink in Boulder City now, but you cannot gamble. They don't have any gambling there. And it still kind of has... Boulder City is very nice, and I would probably live there if I could afford it. It's kind of pricey because it retained its historic character. It's a very picturesque little town. But it kind of still has this very sanitized company town vibe to it. Where, I don't know, man. It feels a little bit like Smallville or Pleasantville or one of those creepy movies. I don't know. I don't mean to offend anybody who lives in Boulder City. Like I said, it's beautiful and I would live there if I could afford it. But it just does kind of have that kind of Stepford vibe to me. And I should know because I was just there. We couldn't go to the Hoover Dam, but we went and we had breakfast in this little cafe and it was just so dang cute. Into that museum. It was awesome. But then we went back to Railroad Pass, this hotel that's sort of in this weird liminal area between Vegas and Boulder City. And it was built there because you couldn't drink or gamble in Boulder City. So 1 mile from the gate, this canny developer from LA built this casino. I don't think it was a hotel back then. It was just a casino and, you know, a bar. And it is, to this day, still open. It's the longest continuously operating casino in the entire state of Nevada. Railroad Pass. Such a weird place. I need to go back there and make a video about it. Anyway, that's where I was staying the last couple days. But then yesterday, Mumford headed out to go to Tecate, and I headed out to come down here. And I stopped at the Mad Greek, and I got that shake. But I was kind of saving my appetite because 15 minutes from here, believe it or not, as if the border fence disappearing into the ocean isn't weird enough, 15 minutes from here is the birthplace of carne asada fries, the place where they were invented. And again, I'm not going to say too much because I filmed it for the video that I'm going to make about this whole weird expedition. But they were good, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm really hungry. It's like, I think it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I haven't eaten anything today. I don't have any food with me because I'm not traveling with a cooler. I didn't want to hassle with ice. I certainly didn't want to hassle with carrying a refrigerator. I came in last night with my order of asada fries and I ate those for dinner last night. But today, well, I have some bags of Mountain House dehydrated food. I guess I could make one of those. I have some cherries, some walnuts, some beef jerky. I'm just going to try to eat light because tomorrow I was supposed to go to a nude beach in this area. Mike Z said he was going to maybe meet me there. I have a feeling he's going to bail, but you never know. I mean, I wouldn't blame him if he did bail because he lives up in Hollywood, and to get down to San Diego where this beach is a miserable slog through traffic. Oh God, driving here yesterday on this freeway 805 to get down here. Oh, I remembered why I don't live here. Actually, that's not why I don't live here. The reason I don't live here is I don't have enough money. If I had enough money, even the traffic probably wouldn't keep me away because the climate is so spectacular and so is the scenery. I mean, there's just gorgeous hills, mountains, beaches, forests all around. I mean, there's a reason why California is so expensive. It's because it's friggin' amazing. Anyway, I'm almost out of this weird beach state park and back to my campground. And since I don't want to reveal too much more of the weirdness of this area before I release the video, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I guess I'm sort of straddling the line like that border wall is. I'm trying to decide if this thing on my knee is really worth abandoning ship and going back to Vegas right now. I think I can wait until after Burning Man. But the thing is, after Burning Man, then I got a bunch of other stuff planned, you know? So it's like, when will I have time? Maybe I'll try to do it. Mumford is going to do this. He's going to help his friend do this Vegas to Reno off-road race. So if I end up helping him with that, I was thinking of making a video about it because it sounds kind of interesting. They do this whole race completely off-road all the way from Vegas to Reno or vice versa, as the case may be this year. So if I do help him with that, it's going backwards this year. So I'll end up in Vegas. And I guess I could try to make a doctor's appointment to get That, and also my boob hurts. I've had a history of getting cysts in my breast, and they told me to lay off caffeine, and I did. But when I was traveling Route 66 back in June, man, I was so exhausted. I had to drink coffee. So I had at least 1, sometimes 2, and I think a few times 3 caffeinated beverages a day on that trip. And so I don't know if that's what's going on or what, but yeah, my boob is a little tender. So that means I guess I got to go back and get another ultrasound, and that's another $300 copay, assuming I don't have to go get a referral from a regular doctor first. Our healthcare system is a nightmare. With that in mind, I guess I should be more cautious about walking through areas that may be contaminated with sewage water. I don't know, isn't stuff like that just supposed to make your immune system stronger? That's what I was under the impression. Well, anyway, I'm gonna do my best to stay healthy. I'm gonna go back to my car. I have some cherries, antioxidants. I have some walnuts, omega-3s. I have some beef jerky, preservatives. I think I have some beans, some rice, whatever, all cobbled together, something to eat that won't bloat me up for my big debut at Black's Beach in San Diego tomorrow. Now, by the time you're watching this video, well, that'll be yesterday, so don't think you can go to Black's Beach and try and perv on me. Oh, a little bunny just ran across the road. Oh, this little bunny with a little fluffy white tail. Oh, I'm telling you guys, it is just beautiful here. So stay tuned for the full video coming eventually on Wonder Hussey's continuing summer 2026 road trip adventures.